The news and rumors for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC are heating up, and we've got a ton to cover in this video, so let's dive in. All right, it's been a little while since I've done a news video, so we're gonna catch you guys up on a few things. Then we're gonna dive into some rumors and potential leaks for Scarlet and Violet DLC, which is exciting, including the fact that some people are seeming to think that we're gonna get news as soon as next week. So let's dive in. We've got the new 7-star Terra Raid launching, which is Bug Terra type Samurott, which is kind of hype. That's gonna be dropping in just a few days, March 31st to April 2nd, and then again April 7th through the 9th. So that's actually dropping in just a few days. I'll put out a guide in a few days for that as well for you guys when the time comes. So you can start preparing now. I'm pretty sure this thing gets shredded by like Koraidon, but we'll put together a nice little guide for you guys when the time is right. You might be like, why are we getting bug type Samurott? And I think it's just simply because Megahorn is cool and they gotta show love to bug type somewhere. If you guys didn't see it, the Nintendo 3DS eShop did officially close down. You cannot get any new purchases, so hopefully you stocked up on everything. If you missed out on buying stuff, then you're kind of out of luck. There's always the opportunity, of course, to just play kind of the new consoles, or I guess try to find some old cartridges, or I guess emulate them. And then they actually announced that there's gonna be a special distribution of a flying Terra type Lechonk, and that's running in the US at GameStops on March 31st. So I don't know why you'd want to personally drive to a GameStop to get a Lechonk, but if that's your cup of tea, then by all means, you can grab it and grab a little balloon Lechonk. It's cute and all, but just feels like kind of out of place. Then we've got Eclipse reporting we'll be getting Pokemon news next week. They tweeted this yesterday. A lot of hype around this. A lot of people are speculating what's going on. What kind of news could we be getting? Why is Eclipse tweeting this? Eclipse seems to be some sort of an insider, right? Like, they've definitely got some sort of a track record in terms of being very aware of what's going on in the space. So I wouldn't necessarily like take this to mean fact, but I think the timing does actually makes a lot of sense, right? Kind of the beginning of April, potential opportunity for them to announce Pokemon Home, and that's exactly what Soul Silver Art says here. If true, I imagine a Home Scarlet and Violet integration announcement with how Pokemon Bank works now too. Then sleep news and that's it. But if we take Copium Takeover, maybe announce a Rayquaza raid to celebrate the new anime, maybe a tiny tease to the DLC, maybe a mythical. So a lot of things to be excited about. Obviously we had kind of our first trailers, our first announcement back at the tail end of February. We've gone a month with nothing, which is very normal. Sometimes we could go as far as into like June without really anything substantial. But I do think because of Pokemon Home and kind of the lingering necessity of them giving that to us at some point, it would make sense for them to do something sooner than later. So I would not be surprised. I'm certainly gonna keep it on my radar that next week there could be Pokemon news, and then it could be the home announcement finally. Whether we're gonna get anything additional, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't hold your breath, but it's certainly worth keeping an eye out for. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, have those notifications turned on. We've got a sick Let's Play going on, and I'll be dropping news if it happens next week for sure. If you haven't done so yet though, make sure you guys head over to teamshiny.com. You can pick up some sweet shiny merch. All of your favorite shinies are there at teamshiny.com, and you can use code STELLAR to get 15% off your order if you pick up 3 shirts or more. So take a look, man. We just dropped some brand new designs like Hydreigon and Goodra and Baxcalibur. We've got things like Great Tusk and Slitherwing and so many different designs. I mean, you can go through the pages. We have like legitimately like over 100 different shiny designs you guys can check out, like Mew and Umbreon, some of the favorites. So take a few minutes out of your day, scroll through there, deck out your closet. You'll look awesome. Our shirts are super high quality. I'm sure you're gonna love them. So check out teamshiny.com and pick up your favorite shiny shirt today. I found this post to be interesting. Light88 found this. A couple people kind of passed it around. Hunter posted this, but there's a poster in the game, and of course people have been looking around for posters now because we're finding that they like to tease a lot of things with these posters. So they found this poster in this game, and it looks like Magikarp Man. Now there's a few things, right? So we have the Common Rider bug Pokemon Lokix, and there's a lot of thoughts that maybe the new kind of trio of Pokemon that's coming in the DLC may be kind of related to like Power Ranger like vibes. So it's interesting that we have this like Magikarp Man on a poster, and it's very clearly Magikarp, right? The colors are the same. The little crown on his chest matches the little fin on the top of Magikarp. There's a thought that maybe Magikarp was supposed to get a different form and it got scrapped. Maybe there's a superhero type character that represents Magikarp and like they're not in the game, or they're gonna be in the DLC or whatever. But I just thought this was kind of a cool little nugget of information that may or may not be relevant in the future. So keep an eye out for this. Maybe we'll see Magikarp Man in the DLC, some sort of a superhero Magikarp Man. That would actually be pretty funny. Now we're gonna dive into a couple different rumors, and I do want to just mention with these rumors, we always want to take them with a grain of salt. There's two different ones that have been kind of spreading around the community over the last few days. I thought it was worth mentioning. So Dusty posted this one, but I saw it pop up in a few other places. It says that Ogerpon is gonna be a fairy grass Pokemon, and it's called the Masked Apple Pokemon. The 3 new Pokemon are determined by the starter you chose at the beginning of the game. So if you chose Fuecoco, you get the Monkey, which is a Ghost type. If you chose Sprigatito, then you get Pheasantipity, which is a Psychic type. And then if you chose Quaxley, then you get the dog, the green dog, which is Okidoki, and that's a ground type apparently. It says that the Furrid family and the Poochyena family are gonna actually get new regional forms, and then there's some others too. So saying that, you know, Furrid, Poochyena gets new forms, there's other ones, and then this is kind of the big one, and I think this is probably why this rumor of sorts got spread pretty rapidly around the community, is they're saying that there's a wishing shrine that earns you items and Pokemon by using real money. And that's something that we have not seen from Pokemon. And as much as I want to say, like, I don't see them doing that, Pokemon Go is a thing, right? So the idea behind this is they're saying that, like, you're going to be able to potentially use real money, real, like, physical currency, essentially digital, obviously through, like, credit cards or whatever, to buy something in the game in addition to the DLC. I have such a hard time believing this, man. I really do. Like, I just don't see that they would do that. But then again, you say, oh, like, Pokemon wouldn't do that. But they have a handful of IPs, like, different games that they've released and stuff that utilize the gacha style system. Like, they have so many games that utilize the gacha system. So it's not, like, out of the realm of possibility for them to introduce it into the main series games. We've seen tons of franchises do it, and do it to great success from their, you know, their money-making perspective. But obviously it can be, in many ways, damaging to kind of the audience, or, you know, not a super good thing. I think that there, in the space of video game creation, there is a place for that, right? I think that when you look at a freemium model, this idea that you can play something for free, but to speed up your advancement or whatever it is, or cosmetic updates, like, you can pay for things. I think, like, Fortnite has really done a good job with that. I don't play Fortnite, but just in general. But this idea that you would buy a game, buy a DLC, and then have to pay for more stuff just feels like very off course. I have a hard time wrapping my head around that one. And then this one was really, really interesting. It blew up last night on Reddit, and this person posted on Discord, says, guys, I have a response from the guy on Twitter, and the thread is titled, apparently this guy leaked some big stuff in the past. And it says, Ogerpon is grass and ghost, it's the dead king. So saying the masked Pokemon is a grass and ghost type, which I think is possible, right? The last post we had just saw said that it was gonna be fairy and grass. Here's where things get a little weird though. It says Okidogi is a bug and dark type. This is a hulking, menacing dog of sorts, and it's saying it's a bug and dark type. Let's just pretend it doesn't say that for a second and just see the rest of the post, right? Monkey Dory being water and dark, and Pheasantipity being flying and dark. Would they introduce a trio of dark type Pokemon? We already have, like, the Ruinous Legend Quartet that are dark types. I don't know. Says that all 3 of them have an obtainable item that changes their dark typing into fighting typing and boosts their stats like Zacian's sword. So I see the potential of them having different forms, right? Like, I really could see that, and that's the only way I could wrap my head around the idea that Okidogi could potentially be a bug and dark type. But I just don't see how you get this menacing dog that doesn't look anything like a bug to be a bug. I just don't see that personally, but maybe there's a form change there that we just don't know about, and that kind of answers the question there. But that immediately throws me off. But it goes on to say some other interesting stuff, saying that Ogerpon has something similar, like an item, but it doesn't change its typing. It then goes on to say that Terapagos is rock and psychic, but it can Terra into everything in battle. So I don't know what that means. Like, what is Terra into everything? Like, it can choose your Terra type in battle as opposed to predetermined choose your Terra type? Like, what does that ultimately mean? Do you Terra into something that's super effective against that opponent, or what? It says that Scarlet's getting an EEVEE Dragon Paradox, so a Dragon type EEVEE Paradox, which, as much as, like, I feel like that would be kind of crazy, I guess, like, dude, that would be, like, a really, really interesting way to introduce the Dragon evolution that everyone's always wanted, by just making EEVEE have a Paradox form that's Dragon. Kind of weird. And then Pikachu is getting a Vending Paradox, and I actually had to pull up this fan art. I saw it on Reddit as well, and it says it's posted by Hertz Burst, so shouts to them, but they did Iron Vendor, and it's like Pikachu is like a little vending machine, and I really like that. I thought that was a cool kind of thing. I guess the lore behind iron bundles that it like launches presents towards people. It was like man-made. So I mean, it's not that far-fetched, this idea that you would have like a Pikachu vending machine that like gives people stuff that they want or whatever, and it's a Pokemon. So I'm not gonna write that off, especially when you see like the fake concept, right? Terraforms for at least 30 Pokemon, they look really cool. So this is the thing that we've been kind of waiting on, is we know with Dynamax, we had Gigantamax, right? And they were Pokemon that took on form changes with kind of a small tweak to their attacks. This is a context where we could see Pokemon with specific Terra types, and it's been, I believe, leaked by Riddler Coup that you're gonna see, like, let's say there's a water type Terra Charizard form, and you have a Charizard that's water Terra type, and you have the form unlocked or whatever in the DLC, then it changes its appearance, not just its typing, and then it gets some sort of a bonus, whether it's a stab bonus or whatever, double stab or whatever it is. So I'd be really curious to see what those look like, the different Pokemon, like the different terraforms. That's probably one of the things I'm most excited about for DLC, if that is the case. It says no new regional variants or correlative species, convergent species. And then they go and say that this is weird, but they're actually doing some good balance changes, like major buffs for really bad mons and some nerfs for really good ones. Not Goldango though. So we've never seen like a mid like game adjustment period. We've seen it pre-launch to game. So like when Pokemon X and Y released, they did some changes to some stats. Like Arbok got a buff, and like, I don't know, Alakazam got some tweaks, and Dugtrio got a tweak, I think. So different stat changes have happened in between generations, kind of. We've never really had it happen in the middle of a generation, like in the existing context of the game. Although I wouldn't put it out of the question, like, especially if they introduce Pokemon new to the DLC that weren't previously in Scarlet and Violet, then I think that there's a world where you can like really make an argument that like, hey, if those changes, it's really not a big deal because they weren't legal in the game until that point anyway. I would really like to see this. I would like to see them kind of raise the floor a little bit on some of the lower tier Pokemon. Your Furrets, your Ledians, you know, your Noctowls, or are these all Gen 2 Pokemon? Like, some of these Pokemon that really, they don't even have a niche anymore with being over 1,000 Pokemon, right? Like, their function in any sort of a battle sense is very much so dwarfed by other Pokemon at this point. So I'm a big fan of that, and even a small tweak, like I believe Mantine had gotten a few buffs. A move and a few stat adjustments can make all the difference for certain Pokemon. So I'd be excited to see that if this came true. Just really hung up on the bug in Dark Ogidori, if I'm being honest. So that's that, my friends. I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown on everything news and rumor related for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and the upcoming DLCs. Keep an eye out for potential news next week. That could certainly be interesting. And make sure you guys show some love, like the video, and subscribe. Pick up some sweet merch at TeamShiny.com, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.